Hello everyone, thanks for coming by my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Rowan. I am a librarian. I'm a pagan Unitarian witch. I am a fashion and beauty enthusiast. I am an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, if the intersections of any of that sound interesting to you, please like and subscribe. I would love to grow this community. Today's video is going to be about setting up my March perfume tray as we're moving more into the warm spring days here in Northern California. What I want to move into for the warmer weather, and some other chatting along the way probably. So let's get into it. Like I said, I live in Northern California and it's already like sunny, bright day today, in the high 60s. We're probably going to have some 70-degree weather coming up, and then it's going to get chilly and cold again, and then it will start pulling into lasting warm weather. And so having some things that are light and fresh, but also can make that transition when it's still cool at night and when it's still having some of those brisk days. And I like to set up the perfume tray because it helps me to use things and to think about them. But I'm not going to say this is all I'm going to use and that I'm not going to use anything else. And so, you know, if we have a nice cold day and I decide that I want to like take advantage of that and wear Killian's Angel Share, I'm going to do that. There are no hard and fast rules in my fragrance life or any other part of my life when it comes to how I use things, how I enjoy them. So with that, let's get into that. The first thing I'm adding is Sense of Wood. The bottle looks like a heart. I love this. It's so good. And this is plum and cognac. And the plum, I feel it's a little spicy and woody, but that kind of fruity plum note, I feel like is gonna really be a great transition from winter into spring. And the plum is not just plum. So the Sense of Wood, it's plum tree. So it's also the wood and the bark of the plum, the blossom, the fruit, like it's all of those aspects of the scent. So I think that's going to be just lovely this spring. Next is BDK 312 Saint Henri. Pardon my French, I'm not good at it. This is one that is really lovely and floral. It's light and kind of clean and crisp. And so I think that that's going to be great on the cool spring days. And I actually have been layering it with Nearly Noon the last couple of days, trying to figure out like mostly trying to figure out if Nearly Noon is going to be a spring scent or not. And I think that those two together really are a great spring scent, especially spring into winter or winter into spring. But I also feel like this one has enough light airiness. It's definitely kind of more of a marshmallow cloud than a sticky sweet marshmallow. That's going to be really, really nice for the spring. And then similarly, Mallow Musk is a light, almost fruity gourmand, but not fruity like fresh fruit, fruity like maybe some simmering fruit and syrup. So I think that's going to go nice with this transition as well. One of my favorite spring scents, which you can see is coming up on the end here, Kabuki number 9, which is a sugared grapefruit lychee. This is magic. I absolutely love this scent. It is just so sweet and uplifting and cheerful. Next to go on is going to be Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. This is a lovely cherry scent that has a powderiness and a spiciness. So again, it's more like a cherry cobbler or a cherry pie than a bowl of fresh tart cherries. Although cherry is one of the places where I do tend to like a lot of cherry scents. I don't own a lot of cherry scents because I feel like I just need this one. This one is kind of, if I'm going to reach for a cherry, this is the one that I want to reach for. You will notice a lot of my things are travel size. That is intentional. And I only add full bottles of things to my collection if they're things I know that I'm going to want to use over and over again, and they're really special and wonderful, or I'm really trying to support a particular creator or brand or concept, I actually will prefer to get travel size or small sizes of things, just because I can kind of get distracted and lose focus if I don't really truly love something, and then it's kind of lingering there. And I'm not someone who is going to want, you know, hundreds of full bottles of things, but I will want a lot of little samples for talking about and comparing and kind of archiving. So I envision my collection of makeup, of fragrance, fashion to be a library and not an archive. And so I don't want a full bottle of every single thing. I bring things in and out of my collection, and so that means that I want to be really mindful about how I do that. And I think economically it's really better to do that through sample sizes and small things, to try them, to investigate them, to compare them, and then to decide if I want to buy a full bottle or not. Next, I want to talk about this new brand, Noise, and this fragrance is Unmute, and it's a really lovely fruity berry scent, and I feel like that is gonna be really nice for the spring. Next is Enchantment. And this is a Dua brand, and it's a dupe of Roja's Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's a very green plant, kind of rich planty. I get in this like a little cannabis also. I don't know if that's a note or if that's just that it's woody and so fresh and green. Not like burning cannabis, but like fresh. I think this is going to be really nice to wear this spring. Golden Ticket is another by Sniff, and this is a tea scent. It's got a couple of different kinds of tea and some citrus, and it's just really fresh and light, and I think that's going to be really nice to wear. I have my Amber essential oil. This is, for me, a year-round scent. I have a Renaissance Fair coming up next weekend. And I always pull out Amber to wear to the Renaissance Fair, because that is comfort area, sense memory for me that I think I will always hold on to. And that's something that I always find really interesting with fragrances, is how we create those sense memories. The first time after the pandemic that I put on my Renaissance clothes and put on my Amber fragrance, I was hit so hard with 30 years of memories of that ritual that I almost was floored. I almost fell to my knees just with the emotional impact of everything that came with that. And that's one of the really interesting things to me about fragrances, how you can create memories and how you can associate different things. It just brings such comfort. And so that's one of the things about the magic of scents for me, is that I can tie it to all of these memories and these experiences, and I can be intentional with the notes that I'm gonna wear and how I'm gonna use them in my magical life. This is Seven Virtues Santal Vanilla, and Santal is sandalwood. In case you're not aware of that, I wasn't aware of that until someone told me. It's woodier than the sandalwood that I grew up with, which is very creamy and a lot richer and more comforting, whereas this is a lot fresher. And I blame Santal 33 for that. I think that they created a profile of what Santal is supposed to smell like, and people have tried to mimic that to the point that it's hard to find sandalwood that is creamy, rich sandalwood that I grew up with. But I do like the fragrance of, I like the whole gambit of sandalwoods. I found Radio Bombay recently, and that's on my wish list because it has that creamy, rich sandalwood that I really miss. But this is going to be great for spring because it is that fresh, uplifting kind of smell. I wish I could tell you what I'm holding in my hand here, but I can't. So we're just gonna put on the glasses and check it out. This is Missing Person by Fleur. And this one's really interesting because, again, it's that subliminal that can happen when someone tells you that you're going to have an association. And fragrance is one of those places that can happen, where there were tests of people being told that they're smelling something and then they smell it. They're like, yeah, I can totally smell that. Or people who are given apple juice and orange juice that are the same color, and they're told that the apple juice is orange juice, and they taste the orange juice in it because our olfactory senses are really primed for association. And so the thing with missing person is it's supposed to remind you of someone that you're missing, and it's supposed to kind of envelop you in this feeling of having that connection. And the first time I wore it, I thought of my grandma Frank. It reminded me of that, and it's a little bit because of the musk in here. Like, people's skin is musky, but also to me it's a little, it doesn't smell like cigarettes. It doesn't, but it does. It has like a little bit of that cigarettes and Aquanet kind of vibe. I'm not selling this perfume. Like, I'm sorry, Fleur, I really am. In a really comforting way. So I want more of that experience of like maybe seeing if anyone else comes up when I'm wearing this, or it's also a skin scent that other people, when they smell it on me, it's not going to be too strong. So that's going to be really good for wearing to work or wearing around the house. Yeah. This one is Henry Rose, and it's Queens and Monsters. I don't smell a lot like this, and so it's hard for me to really describe like the name Queens and Monsters, and then the scent of being fresh and sweet and like playing D&D in a field surrounded by trees. Like, you've got the woody notes, but also the fresh grass note, but also something sweet, like maybe you're eating some cookies or some scones and jam. Like, it's got some really lovely stuff going on here, and I think that's going to be really nice for the spring. This is Nest Indian Jasmine, and this is a roller oil, and so I know that I've run this one by my partner, and they think that it's fine, and they like jasmine, and so I'm hoping that I can try this one out and see if they like that. Next is another by Henry Rose, and this is, we're gonna put the glasses on again. This is, yeah, Flora Carnivora, and there's a particular tree that has white flowers. There's one in my front yard that's one of my favorite smells from spring, and the first time I smelled this, I was like, oh, this is that tree. It's got a little bit of cornflower smell to me, like a reminiscence of cornflower. But yeah, it's a lovely light floral smell that is not cloying. It's not super floral in the traditional way of floral that I don't tend to care for. This to me smells like masa. That tree smells to me like masa. Like we're getting ready to make tamales or corn tortillas. And so to me, even though this is a flower, it's not floral to me. It's this other scent memory. But there is a floral that I really like, and it's Gucci. I really like this yellow. I really like the pink, and I like the purple. There's another one I don't like. I don't remember what it is. It's the original, whatever the original one was. I didn't like it, but I have liked all of the flankers. And this one is Orchid. So this one is Gorgeous Orchid, and it's just a really light, sweet, like you're barely getting a trace of floral at all in this. And maybe that's the thing, is maybe I'm describing floral as being particular blends of flower, and there are some individual flowers that I think really smell lovely, and when you can do those right, then it's like smelling a flower, and less like synthetic or fake flower. And I think, you know, if you're gonna do something, Gucci is one of the places that could really be done well, because they've got the Gucci money, I guess. This is Nest's Vanilla Bourbon, and it's a nice, sweet, lovely vanilla that's not just the vanilla pod, but I feel like there's a little maybe of the vanilla orchid in here, or at least it's a little reminiscent of just that kind of sweeter plant-like herbaceous vanilla than the sticky resiny pod vanilla, and it could be the bourbon is sort of pumping that up too. I have this little sample of mango skin that I am really excited to try. It's a lovely musky mango, and so I think that that is going to be really great for spring, probably into summer. And then recently I went to a witchy pagan event, and I ended up getting 2 essential oil blends, Basset and Anubis, and I got them specifically because I was looking for spring fragrances and thought that also was thinking about the incorporating some oil fragrances for around the house and when I'm out with my partner. So this one's a little sweet and this one's a little sweet and musky, so we'll see how those go. And then the last thing is I wear this a lot in November because for me the peach, the Tom Ford Bitter Peach, is very powdery and can be a little thick. And so I tend to think of it as a cold weather thing. I have a couple other peach things. So I'm gonna bring them out, maybe try layering them. I have Peach's Revenge. I'm not sure I'm into smelling like a peach. If I am into smelling like a peach, this might be the one, but if I could add some Peach's Revenge, like to lighten it up a bit, or if I can find some other ways to lighten it up a bit and make it wearable in the spring and summer, that might be nice, because you think of summer and you think of peaches, right? But this is definitely more of a peach cobbler vibe than a fresh peach. So that is everything. This has gotten long and rambly. I hope that you all enjoy it. Just remember that self-care is important for you to be able to have the resilience that you need to go out into the world and do the work that you need to do. Remember that joy is resistance, queer joy is resistance, trans joy is resistance, Black joy is resistance. So take care of yourself, my friends. Renew, recover, revive, and I will see you next time.